This week's Techopia Live is a must-watch for anyone whose business lives and dies on customer engagement. Benbria here in Kanata has been for years helping partners like Verizon and clients like A&W or Delta Airlines to measure their customer satisfaction. We're going to learn how this industry has changed this week on Techopia Live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Techopia Live. I'm your host, Craig Lord, the editor here at Techopia. This week, we're in Kanata at the offices of Benbria to talk about the company's customer engagement solution. Joining us is Jordan Parsons, the CEO of Benbria. And to his right, we have Natasha Plotnikov from our sponsor, KRP Properties. Natasha, could you introduce yourself and talk a bit about the company?
Oh, yes. Natasha Plotnikov, KRP Properties. I handle actually tenant engagement is a huge part of my job, which is why I wanted to come here to selfishly get some feedback from you and some ideas. KRP owns and operates a good part of the not the businesses, the buildings, the infrastructure here in Canada's largest technology park. So.
This is a sprawling building. I was walking through it earlier and getting a little lost, to be honest.
It's a bit of a maze, this one, yeah.
All of the Ottawa tech companies busy at work here. But one of them, of course, Benbria, has been around for more than a decade. You're working heavily now in customer engagement, helping some of those big names I mentioned earlier. But that's not actually where the company started. Jordan, can you take us back maybe to the roots of Benbria, where you got involved and what you're doing today?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Craig and Natasha. I appreciate you guys joining us today. The history, it originally started off as actually mass notification. Think broadcasting to people on as many channels as possible, but more in an emergency management context. If I take us way back, when we remember people preparing for the worst case scenario at a university, where it's like, active shooter, somebody's in the gymnasium, there's a gun blazing. Well, how do we reach out and tell people that there's a problem in that area and alert them and ultimately be responsible for their safety? But somewhere along the lines of around 2013, 2014, the company saw many, many other use cases to actually collect customer feedback or scale customer conversations on channels. And that became what was called the Loop platform. So we went and invented a product originally called Blazecast. And then what we did is we created what was called Blaze Loop, and now that's just called Loop, and that's our main product today. Very exciting.
Awesome. One of the things that I'm interested in is how the technology involved in customer engagement has evolved. I was on the website earlier and looking at stuff like natural language processors, that kind of stuff. When we talk about omni-channel engagement, where is Benbria these days? How are you engaging? And if I'm a customer, what are the ways that I'm actually using this platform, Loop, to solicit feedback?
Great question indeed. I think I take it a bit for granted that we've been around for a while, and myself in technology, but we've seen many evolutions now of technology. We literally have grown up in a decade where tablets just got, basically became viral, commoditized almost, and accessible and deployable in different places. And that opened up an opportunity to collect feedback in a bricks and mortar environment. So what's changed is, from an offline and online perspective, there is so many digital and physical journeys that your customers can take now. And those are all opportunities to collect customer feedback or engage with a customer in real time to either recover them, follow up with them, touch them, really empathize with them, so to speak, and measure all those individual journeys. We call them the moments of truth in the customer journey, is where you need to be able to insert yourself when either something's gone wrong or there's an insight you can capture. Because ultimately it's about reducing customer churn, increasing revenues, creating loyalty, and the best brands on the planet are really, really, really good at doing that. And fantastic, we have many of those great brands as clients of ours today because of that very reason.
And hopefully when you see that customer satisfaction starting to plummet, you can swoop in at exactly the right moment, save them.
So they call that the voice of customer, correct?
Yeah,
the voice
exactly.
of customer.
Awesome.
Yeah. Constantly measuring.
And this is an issue, Natasha, that you mentioned KRP is very interested in. Why is tenant satisfaction so important on KRP's side?
Yeah, so a big part of my job is tenant engagement, as I mentioned before. And by this, it's informing and engaging individuals in the parks. So there are roughly 10,000 under our portfolio. And I'm not talking about the people who are signing the leases to stay on, although they're very important people as well, but it's their employees and engaging their employees. And that's always a challenge because, maybe you'll get 5% that are actually paying attention to all the things you're posting on social media or notifications through our property management team and different things, and the message just never seems to get quite to everybody, and I suppose it never will. But what are some things that Benbria could do for, say, the real estate industry?
Very, very good. So I think there's kind of two aspects of that. So first and foremost, you're trying to help manage you're helping your customer manage their experience with their customers essentially. And it's all about increasing or enhancing the employee experience. So those use cases we definitely service today in our platform, and it's all about, for our perspective, understanding how we can, once again, if it's a KRP building and there's a big tenant and they have say a cafeteria, what's the menu like today? Are you happy with the cleanliness of the cafeteria, the service in the cafeteria?
Yeah.
If you're, if there's, an opportunity to understand if other areas of the business are performing as they need to be, or the washrooms clean, can we deploy channels where we can create a one-to-one communication with our customer's customer and actually listen to them about anything we can do to increase their work experience, so they'll want to spend not just 8 hours a day in the building, but maybe 12 hours a day in the building.
Sure.
Optimizing what they do. I feel like brands like Google are really good at this. They do everything they can to make sure that they resolve or have your work experience be very high and efficient.
Yeah.
And if there's anything you can do to just make things more convenient for you to be at work and be efficient, that's actually a huge priority or mandate for them.
Totally.
If I look at the employee life cycle and we look at churn with employees, ramping up employees, attrition of employees, I think the last curve I looked at is the year mark is when most employees, if they're going to leave. Otherwise, they stay for the long term. So within 0 to 1 years, you really need to pay attention to what employees are thinking, what they're feeling, and what they need. And even in the walls of Benbria, we use a combination of our own technology, but also just regular meetings and regular touch points with our employees to make sure that they have what they need, they're happy, they like coming to work. Like, it has to be a priority.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with the whole talent attraction these days, if that definitely obviously plays a huge piece into it in that first year, like you said, and then you ignore them after the first year, right? Because they've already
no. Well, not quite, but you get a more trusted long-term relationship.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, long-term. And it's interesting hearing how tenants can almost be like customers for, of course, real estate companies like KRP, but across industries, Benbria is active to help maintain those customers. Over there's actually a dashboard right now tracking the surveys going on at A&W restaurants, so almost 1,000 locations across North America. What are the kinds of specific applications that we might see in a retail, in travel, transport? We mentioned you talked with airlines before.
Yeah, really what we're just keeping up. So we'll talk a little bit about where the fabric's changing in the industry or where we see opportunity for the company. And really what's changing is the amount of digital journeys is ever increasing now, the amount of touch points, whether it's the contact center, the website, the Wi-Fi portal, the bricks and mortar locations. All these things need to be managed, and all these things are opportunities to engage with your customers or employees. And that's really where our focus is. So when we look at what's changing now, we started to develop a lot of integrations in the next generation messaging platforms. So for example, this month or in August, we're launching an integration or a channel with the WhatsApp, with WhatsApp using their business API. So the fact that 1.5 billion people are on WhatsApp and they already have WhatsApp installed on their mobile phone, and a brand can create a business profile and connect it to the Loop platform, and we can aggregate and help them respond to people on those channels, is tectonic, to say the least. So you're looking at Twitter, you're looking at Facebook, you're looking at WhatsApp, Line, WeChat, Telegram, the list goes on. These are all different ways that people interface on a platform like Loop. So we can aggregate those channels, and we're doing that across automotive, retail, hospitality, travel, variety of different markets like that. Yeah. So if you have physical stores, we want to have kiosks in your physical stores. If you want to build buildings, yeah. Some people we have them departmental, deployed departmentally. Some people we have them deployed in in individual, just kind of exit or touch point or at the cash register.
Yeah.
It really it depends on the behavior where you can insert yourself from a journey perspective and what you want to measure.
Yeah. Well, like you said, outside of cafeterias in our office buildings or in lobbies for just the general spaces and stuff like that could so add office space and that kind of stuff to your long list of places you
Absolutely,
can go.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
You're definitely omni when it comes to omni-channel.
Thank you, yeah.
So kudos on that.
Thank
It
you,
seems
yeah.
that Anywhere the journey could go sour, hopefully Benbria is able to help you there. Yeah. Here in Ottawa specifically, where Benbria is based in the Kanata offices, why Ottawa? What is? I know it has its roots in Wesley Clover as a Terry Matthews company, a well-known guy around here, around these parts. But what is it about Ottawa that allows Benbria to grow here and build this company?
Yeah, I mean, originally I think myself and other individuals in the company, I mean, we all moved here for an opportunity. At the time, it was, technology in Ottawa was very big. I know that's only becoming bigger in other cities and things like that, but I feel like Ottawa is really special because just because of the layout, because of the cost of living, the resources we have around us, the tech community that's established here, we really have a leg up on competing against other companies that are either located in areas where it's super expensive to hire engineers or to travel back and forth to get just the logistics of business done. And of course, in Canada specifically, when you take advantage of programs like SHRED and IRAP and the government subsidies, it's much cheaper to do engineering in Canada than it is the United States. Yeah. So very, very lucky there. G8 country, located just a couple minutes away from Parliament Hill. I think that's something special there, for sure.
Yeah, something to hold on to, and obviously the booming of Ottawa's tech center, something that KRP Properties would care a lot about, have a vested interest in to be able to fill these suites here at 390 March.
I can't add to what he said. He nailed it. I'm also Ottawa born and raised, so I'm a little bit biased, but I agree. The cost of living, accessibility, it's easy to get around Ottawa, a lot of talent and other businesses that you can work with. So it really is a well-rounded environment, I think, for these kind of opportunities.
Yeah, and I'm from Toronto. If I wanted to go back, I would have went back a long time ago. Yeah. So this is home
from
now.
The dark side.
Yeah, depends on what sport we're talking about. But
exactly.
On the good side for the Raptors, but maybe on the
go.
bad side for the Leafs. Yeah, that's right.
True. Well, I'm starting to hear power tools whirring, so that's probably our time that we need to wrap up and let people get back to business here at Benbria and Soling just on the other side there. So, Jordan, thank you so much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Great,
thank you.
Engaging conversation, if I can put it that way.
Fantastic.
Natasha Plotnikoff from KRP Properties, offering so much more than just space. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Natasha.
Awesome.
Thanks, Greg.
Before I let everyone else go, I just want to take a quick moment and thank some of our sponsors without whom Techopia Live would not be possible. I want to start with Number Crunch, offering virtual CFO services to SaaS firms. There's Perley-Robertson, Hill & McDougall, a leader in business and tech law. There's TD Bank, offering specialized programs for tech firms. There's the University of Ottawa, Faculty of Engineering, creating the next generation of technical talent. And Stratford Managers, offering services to help you scale up your tech ventures. Now, Techopia is not just this fantastic show. We are also available online at obj.ca with daily articles covering Ottawa's tech scene. You can follow us on social, on Facebook and Twitter at Techopia OTT. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please leave a like and a comment and subscribe to see more of our weekly tech interviews with Ottawa's tech leaders. Apart from that, I just want to thank you very much for joining us for the latest episode of Techopia Live. We'll see you next week for the next episode. Thanks.